Let's talk about sound mixers for a little bit. A sound mixer is an extremely important thing that we use in our classes. It takes two or more audio signals, mixes them together, and then gives us an output. Now, you can have multiple outputs, you can have multiple inputs, you can bring things through. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with a sound mixer, and we're going to talk about that. It allows us to combine our signals. It allows us to mix and adjust levels, enhance sound, give equalization of special effects, monitor feeds, various mixes, all kinds of stuff like that. Mixers come in a large variety of sizes and designs. There are the huge console versions in studios that have all kinds of special effects and extra stuff added onto them. Then you've got the small portable units. They make them so small they can actually fit in a pocket nowadays. I actually have a couple of smaller ones here at the school. I'll be showing them to you later on. They've also been called a sound desk or a sound console. Those are the ones that are just stationary in studio settings. Mixers can look really intimidating at the beginning. There's so many buttons and knobs and controls, but once you figure it out, it's not really that hard. Basically, each channel has certain controls that work with it, and then it just duplicates. It's just the same thing over and over for a lot of different options. So really, it's one channel that you have to learn, and once you've learned how that one channel works, you know how all the rest of them are used. Applications for sound mixers. Studios, of course, music studios where we record. Our radio studio has one. We use them for all kinds of different things in the recording industry. And live performances use them as well. You see them in concerts, you see them at theaters. All different places have these sound mixers. Television studios use them. People will take them out in the field when they're recording so that they can do all kinds of different things there and adjust their sound and have it cleaned up and have it sound good. There's a lot of different outputs. I'll show you a couple things as we continue here. The different channels that we have, if you look at a basic mixer, you've got things that start at the top and work their way down. At the very top of the majority of mixers, you're going to have what's called the gain. That gain is the input level. It is how loud the signal is as it enters into the channels. There's a pot there. A potentiometer. That's what the little slidey thing or the little knob is called. It's called a potentiometer. We just call them pots because it's easier that way. The idea is that you adjust all the input sources to the ideal level for the mixer. You know, if you have it too high, you may get some distortion or squeaking or things that sound awful. If you have them too low, you won't be able to hear it that well. We also have phantom power on our mixers. That is power that goes out from the channel, from the mixing board to the microphone. Some microphones need that in order to work. Others don't. Most mixers also have EQ controls, high frequency, low frequency, the mid-ground. That just helps equalize the sound. You can adjust it so that somebody who has a really high-pitched voice, you can pull some of the highs out, turn the lows up. That way they're not squeaking so bad when they talk. You can do the same thing for somebody with a low-pitched voice and change that so it makes the sound cleaner. There's also auxiliary channels. Aux channels is what they're called. It's a way to copy the channel signal from one place to another. A lot of places do this to add special effects, reverb, and that kind of thing, so you get the echoey sounds. Most mixers also have the ability to pan channels. That's to turn a channel from the left to the right and shift which side it's going to come out of to make the sound like it's coming from one side of the speakers or from the other. You can also assign these to various different places. There's a mute, of course. You solo it or you mute it out, and that way you don't hear it anymore. A lot of them have an off switch. And then, of course, there is the slider here at the bottom of most of them. Some use a knob, but these sliders right here allow you to control the volume level as it's being sent to the output. There are subgroup channels. It's an important thing to know. You can take these sliders and group them together, and you get what's called a subgroup. And that allows you to adjust all of them at once. So you get them all set to the right level where they want to be, but then you want all of them to go quiet at the same time. Well, all you have to do is knock down the subgroup one, and that quiets everything. The inputs on the channels are the ones that we talked about earlier when we talked about audio connections. You have the XLR, the 1/4-inch jack, and the RCA. You'll occasionally run into the speak-on plug, or you'll run into an 1/8-inch plug for headphones and things like that. Those are your basic inputs. You use those controls and you use your inputs and everything like that to get your sound from your CD player or your MP3 player or microphone or whatever it is into the board. After that, you do your equalization. Equalization is your treble or your bass, your high sounds and your low sounds. You adjust those until you get the sound how you want it. You just tweak that a little bit, move it around, make it sound properly. The auxiliary channels, once again, those are things that are used for separate monitor feeds. Say that the artist that's performing wants to be able to hear the sound coming back to them, and you're going to do this in concerts a lot. So in order to hear that, you need an auxiliary channel so that they can hear that as well. Private communication between yourself and somebody who's backstage that you don't want to be broadcast out over the main thing, you can use an auxiliary channel for that. Different effects and all those things can all be run through auxiliary channels.